Welcome to the Hot Seat, ladies and gentlemen, where I break down different individuals' characteristics, their personality traits, so that you can implement some of this stuff into your personality, be able to attract the people that you want in your life. My name is Sam Matheson, and in this video, we are going to be breaking down the one and only Russell Brand.
You were considering attempting celibacy. Is that something that you have continued with?
What time do you finish work?
He's one of the most entertaining figures in the world, and we're going to be going in two very, very unique clips. We're going to put Russell in the hot seat, and we're going to actually break down some of the things that make Russell Brand, and how you can take just little bits, not everything, he's pretty crazy, but just little bits, and put them into your personality, kind of insert them in, and you will find that you will get more results with people that you want to. You're going to make more friends, attract new people in your life, have better business connections, better friendships, better girls or guys in your life. So sit back, relax, watch these two clips that we're going to go into, and I'm going to break these down very, very simply so that you know exactly what Russell is doing. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the video.
Comedian, movie star, author, and host of the show Brand X, Russell Brand. Katty Kay and Brian Shackman are here as well, and he already told Brian that he might want to disrobe. I'm just saying.
I just thought maybe I could loosen up a little, show a little more chest hair, and he said maybe I should do a little more.
I only think Russell can do that. You look fantastic.
Yeah. That is a very kind compliment. You also look beautiful. Brian, you are free to wear...
So let's go into this little one clip. If you have a look at what she says, she's introducing Russell, right?
I'll show a little more chest hair, and he said maybe I should do a little more.
I only think Russell can do that. You look fantastic.
Yeah. That is a very kind compliment. You also look beautiful. Brian, you are free to wear whatever you want.
She actually says to him, you look great, right? Which is one of the common sayings that someone that is presenting, when you're presenting, you're literally like, you know, welcome to the show, welcome to this, blah, 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 it's really nice to have you. And a lot of people just go, thank you very much, right? A lot of people, as soon as they come on someone else's show, or as soon as they start a conversation with someone, they become very reactive to the person. But what Russell does that is impeccable, that you can actually use a lot in conversation, is he starts to take control of the conversation. Instead of just allowing the news reporters to tell him and talk to him, you know, ask him questions, he kind of takes the reins. So in this next clip, you're going to see Russell start to kind of take the reins of the interview and start to interview the interviewers.
This is one of your freedoms that is afforded to you.
I appreciate that.
Uh-oh.
Silver boots. The boots are
I want to see them. Come on. Put them on the table.
Kinky boots time.
Wow.
There are some boots.
Those are nice. Put your feet up, relax.
I wouldn't do that. I don't want to disrespect your program.
Okay, no.
You did ask to see.
Definitely taking up as much space as he can, and that's one of the things when you are confident, when you are comfortable. Instead of being reclusive, where your energy is going inwards and you don't want to you want to use up as little space as possible, they've even asked him the boots, and he could obviously do it a little bit more, you know, just not as show-offy. But he's comfortable, he's enjoying himself, so, you know, that's why he puts his feet on the freaking table.
No, I did, and I liked
a fellow English woman, so I felt obliged.
We talked about kinky boots.
Really good point here. So you see how he starts talking, and then the woman starts to talk also?
I did, and I liked
a fellow English woman, so I felt obliged.
We talked about kinky boots.
So Russell was talking, the woman starts talking, and a lot of people will shut down there. And as soon as someone else talks, they're like, oh, my point isn't relevant. My point doesn't matter. My point is irrelevant to the conversation. And one of the things that we really want to get that Russell does really well is that he just charges through, let's just say. He just continues on with the conversation. As you see in this little clip here, we're going to play it again.
Okay, no.
You did ask to see.
No, I did, and I liked
a fellow English woman, so I felt obliged.
We talked about kinky boots.
Because in his head, in his reality, a lot of the time it's like when you have a really, really good self-image and self kind of idea about yourself, you know, what you say has value in the 5 steps to conversation. So what you say has value purely because it comes from you.
Boots recently. So
yes, it's a fantastic show. You have to go. Okay, Russell. Ooh,
sorry about that.
That's all right.
You just disrespected the table.
Giant Jenga. It's like your desk is a puzzle.
It is. I'm sorry about that.
What is the solution?
I think we could try and pull it back in. So
there you go, love. Be careful because that's a low-cut dress.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So Russell has been always known for a bit of a provocative kind of, you know, he brings a bit of sexuality, his sexuality. He's very comfortable in his sexuality, and one of the things is he does say, you know, be careful of that low-cut dress. So, you know, some people, I have a lot of people and they say like, oh, I don't know, you know, there's a really attractive girl, I don't know how to, you know, get on more topics that are sexual, or, you know, just trying to get a little bit more into I like you, you like me, let's get a bit sexual and maybe start a relationship. A lot of people are scared to even do something like that. So you can see how Russell is pretty much as authentic as possible. And in this situation, he's actually looking out for the girl. Hey, be careful, there is a low-cut dress, kind of thing. But it adds a little bit of that sexual flavor or that sexuality into the conversation, which is funny, and it does come up a little bit later on in the conversation.
Tell me what you need to know.
I'm just going to have a drink here. Patty K, question.
Messiah complex. That's the name of your tour?
Yes.
Do you have one?
No. It's a mental illness.
Right. And you don't have that either?
I hope that I'm here as a fully qualified professional gentleman.
None of us are.
Free from mental illness.
Free from it.
None of you. This is
One of the things that she said, Messiah complex, and then he says a mental illness, and she says, do you have a mental illness? You might be in a bar, and I know I've gotten it, recently. It was like literally 3 days ago, and you'll get these things which are almost like little shit tests or people to test how congruent you are and how in alignment with your mind, body, and spirit, how authentic you are. My one, obviously being 5'7", I get from girls that are a little bit taller. It's like, oh my God, you're so short. And, when I first heard it, oh my God, like that's the worst thing in the world. Like, what the hell, you're fucking calling me short? Stop. Like, oh my God, I didn't know I was short. What do you mean? Like, I'm not short. Like, I'd be very reactive. And in a situation like this, Russell, you can see, is a little bit less reactive, a little bit more in alignment with himself, more wondering what a funny thing to say is, rather than trying to prove his point or convince that person that what they think is wrong. So, for me, if I'm short, I usually say, oh no, girl, I'm just fun-sized, which adds a little bit of flavor, which adds a little bit of a spark where people find it funny, okay? And I use that because people do find it funny. Now, and a lot of the time, the reason why I got to an answer like that, and I use that, a little bit every now and then when girls do give me shit about my height, is because in the moment one time I said it. You're going to get in situations where people are going to give you a little bit of shit, and you come up with good responses. He doesn't take it as a personal attack, where, some people could take that as a personal attack. Do you have a mental illness? They're like, no, I don't have a mental illness. What do you mean? They could react like that. But he sits back, he's relaxed, he doesn't take it as a personal insult, and actually makes a joke out of it. So everyone becomes a little bit more comfortable in the environment.
None of you. This is a hotbed of neurosis and psychosis.
Yes.
Oh my word, I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah.
But Joe's not here, so there are no messiahs.
That's true. Although we actually bring more mental illness to the table than we admit, at least on this side here, for sure.
It's funny that this is a very professional interview, and the other three, you can see, are even having a chat independent to Russell. They're a little bit flustered by the whole 1 minute and 57 seconds of the interview. They've already lost professionality because of how relaxing Russell's presence is.
So tell me about the tour. You're starting in Abu Dhabi? Is that where it begins?
Yeah, it's in a lot of Middle Eastern nations and South Africa and all across Europe, and of course in your wonderful country and in our country. I'm very, it's a really good tour. I'm talking about Malcolm X, Che Guevara, Gandhi, and Jesus Christ, and how these figures are significant culturally, and how icons are appropriated and used to designate consciousness and meaning, particularly posthumously.
He does mix a lot of logicalness and illogicalness. It just took 2 minutes into the interaction to get any sort of real formality of the interview started. And this is what you can do in a lot of your interactions. You can be super logical, how are you? Yes, my day was good. What did you get up to? But you can also add flares like Russell does of illogicalness and all over the place and just having fun. There's no actual meaning to whatever he's saying or whatever you're saying, but you're just having fun being present in the moment and enjoying yourself more than trying to have this value information kind of transaction that a lot of people have in conversations.
Brings all those people together.
They're all people that died for a cause. They're all people whose icons are used to designate meaning, perhaps not in the manner in which they intended.
I kind of like that. That sounds dead serious. Though.
It's funny when you do it as a joke. I don't take it seriously. I just want to do it on stage.
Logical. Now let's flip back to illogical. It's funny when you say it on stage, So he treads the line really well with logical, illogical.
Now?
Well, not really, love. I mean,
Gandhi,
this is
go.
how it works. Gandhi, go.
Gandhi, go.
I hope that's not your message to Gandhi and the people of India.
No, it's funny though, because I travel a lot.
Just stop it right here. Have a look at the body language between all of them. All three of them are looking at him, and where the hell is Russell looking? He is looking like, huh? Oh yeah?
Belvedere, get the limo ready, please. We are going back to England. He's looking back, so obviously I think something might have happened. Maybe someone dropped something, but it is a great example of how Russell, even though he's there, he is bigger than life. He's bigger than just the interview. He is kind of, you know, a lot of people would be scared or nervous, and Russell just, you know, pretty much revels in this.
And
All these people are at work, are they?
yeah, they're working.
Yeah.
They're just at work.
Well, no.
Work more quietly.
They're Facebooking, actually.
What are they doing?
Facebooking.
They're Facebooking.
Yeah, yeah.
Shopping.
I bet they can't look at pornography. I bet it's blocked on their websites, huh?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Pretty focused.
He's bigger than just the interview, and he has, you know, you're never going to see a person be interviewed anything like this ever again.
But they're allowed to look at, if they wanted to, they can tweet, they can Facebook.
Yeah?
They have to. That's part of
They're
their
probably
job.
tweeting right now.
They're tweeting themselves senseless back there.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's to create the atmosphere of we're a hotbed of news.
It's a working news. Yeah.
They're actually actors.
They're all fully qualified
rented them.
actors.
Yeah.
They're all just now looking for acting work.
Everyone asks, what do you like better, TV, movies, or stand-up? But which one's more difficult? I mean, going on stage, I think, is probably pretty tough. A movie can be boring because you shoot a thing 100 times. TV is what it is.
There are challenges in all of those different disciplines. The thing I enjoy most is stand-up comedy because you're direct with your audience. You can't be misinterpreted. People can't get confused. You know what happens if you work in media? People like to change the information so that it suits a particular agenda. If you're in a room with people, then what you're saying is clear. If you say something that people are confused about, you can explain it to them then. If you say something as a joke, people can't pretend that you're saying it seriously. So I like having direct communication with people because I believe people are very, very intelligent, but the information gets manipulated a lot, and people like to cause, like, you know, fake stirs and stuff.
You know, funny, the accent, you know, when I see him in person, it's totally fine. Forgetting Sarah Marshall or the TV show, it's fine. But on satellite radio in the car, I can't understand a single joke you say.
You can't understand it.
Can you
I can't.
understand me?
Yes, but I'm telling you, when I'm driving in the car and everyone's laughing in the audience of the radio, I'm like, I have no idea.
So remember what I was saying about that short joke? Yeah, something similar. The undertones of it. You can actually look at the kind of the posturing up, if you will. Just see the kind of thing is like an animal instinct. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. It's a natural response to, you know, Brian literally telling him that his accent is too thick. You know, you should tone it down. You should conform to society. I don't understand what you're saying. And that's reading into it a lot, obviously. But he was just basically saying that, you know, I can't understand you when you talk. And so anyone's going to take a little bit offense to that. It's kind of like, you don't understand. So his reply will be because, you know, a little bit of, like, you literally just see my shoulders. Watch my shoulders like that. Like, Russell's like that, obviously, as he's like here. And then he just kind of just, the shoulders elevate a little bit. You can just see that chest if I rock it back and forth. Now, if you rock it back and forth, it is not a breathing movement, because breathing is, it's actually, you could kind of, but when you rock it, when you rock it back and forth, when she says, "Can you understand me?" You can just see this chest pop out, and it's more of that animal instinct that we have in us. That's just like, you just criticize me. There's a little bit of tension, and basically all it is tension. So how he handles that is very, very interesting. So watch this. You might be in an intense interaction, maybe with a spouse, maybe with another friend, maybe with a random person, maybe with anything in a business deal. Just body language is very key.
Can you understand me?
Yes, but I'm telling you, when I'm driving in the car and everyone's laughing in the audience of the radio, I'm like, I have no idea what he's.
It's best you focus on your driving, Brian. You're a man. You don't want to be distracted by humour. You might crash into a pedestrian.
Okay. So that is what we call a frame battle. So what he says is, it's best that you focus on your driving, Brian. You don't want to crash into a pedestrian, right? Which is a little dig. And again, you could be saying, Sam, you're reading too much into this. It's a little dig. He just says, I didn't understand your access. And you're like, well, you best concentrate on your driving. You might hit somebody, Brian. It's kind of like in a little frame battle. So basically, a frame battle, or a frame in general, is basically Brian. I don't know what answer he was expecting from him, but it was just like, I don't understand you. But it's just, he's... There's nothing to it. Very easy for Russell to be like, what do you mean? And then for Brian to dig himself, but he's in control of the conversation so much that he kind of uses it and be like, okay,
he didn't mean to insult me, but he just did insult me, I'm gonna have a little dig at him too. I'm insulting you, but not insulting you at the same time. So that's exactly what he says.
Like, I have no idea what he's
It's best you focus on your driving, Brian. You're a man, you don't want to be distracted by humour. You might crash into a pedestrian.
Okay. So it's a good thing.
I think it's probably for the best.
With a cheeky smile at the end, you know? So that's what we call a frame. A frame is an invisible kind of tension between someone said something and you say it back, and basically the frame is almost like who's going to be the dominant person in the environment. Obviously, Brian's asking more questions, and Russell Brand is there. He's the person. But, you know, there's a little frame battle going on. And it's funny because, you know, Brian has a dig, then he has a dig back, and we get to see it as it goes on.
I think it's not listening to him, it's experience. It's just sort of taking it all in.
You are talking about me as if I'm not here and as if I'm an extraterrestrial. You know, I'm from a country that's
kind of
near
shop
to you.
window dummy. We're just sort of admiring the whole, you know, it's the whole thing, isn't it?
Well, thank you for your
like a
casual
sculpture.
objectification.
It's an experience.
So he's very witty, very funny, and you know, he kind of calls everyone up just then, you know, as you think, again, that's a frame. You know, you got 3 people against 1, and he's able to take on all 3 people's frames, or the invisible rules and the invisible barriers of the conversation. And these happen, don't get me wrong, they're not just a woo-woo thing, it happens. I'll give you an example. If someone talks to you and just talks and talks and talks and talks and talks, and then you don't say anything and you're listening, that is a frame. They're talking 100% and you're talking 0%. If you're same with you, you talk 100% and I don't talk, that's a different frame. You know, now you're got the dominant of the frame. The dominance basically means who's talking more. In here, you know, you've got 2 people having digs at each other about his experience of what it is like with Russell Brand, and he kind of has a dig back at everybody else. You know, being like, you're talking to me as if I'm not here. I'm an extraterrestrial. He does that while making humor, and basically in these ones, he has little digs through humor. And it's really interesting, and you can have these kind of frame battles, but Russell, what he does and what you can take from it is whenever you're trying to, you know, kind of, it's a fun little jousting sort of session that he's having with these people. It's all done with a smile on his face. All done with a really, really, really big smile. Okay? And that's how a lot of the time you can ease the tension with a smile.
I'm glad that it's positive for you.
It's very positive, absolutely. Any other questions? I'm a little nervous.
You've become nervous.
I am.
Why are you nervous?
Really? No,
You're a powerful.
So now he takes back control of the conversation.
You're a powerful woman. You've got a lovely job. What seems to be the trouble?
I don't know.
You've got a hair like Princess Diana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I've never
When she was alive, it wasn't being offensive.
Here's a little subtext.
Yes.
I'm petrified of her, and you have her on her heels.
And she's just moved down the
I
other end of the table.
absolutely love this.
Look at the body language. I love it. He's just very relaxed, very loose. And as I said, letting loose in the morning with Joe. He is sitting back. He's now admiring. And he has this intensity about his eyes and the way that he's able to be so congruent himself using different sort of personalities of himself. He's got the very logical version of himself. He's got the, you know, the frame battles, as I said, and now he's got the very relaxed, kind of like the king tiger or the king gorilla just slaying back, looking at people. Have a look at the intensity in the eyes. It's not creepy. It's not done like this. It's done in sort of a very relaxed, very kind of chilled back. You know, quietly smiling, quietly relaxed, and super himself. He's not trying to manage an image or trying to manipulate himself so they like him. He is him. That is it.
Willie,
What seems to be the trouble, love?
No, I'm good.
Well, now we're going to do a bit of therapy. Would you do therapy with Willie Brandt?
With who?
Willie Brandt. Would you do therapy with him?
I don't think.
Because that's where he's heading.
Okay. I'm all right.
You shouldn't say he when a person is present. You should refer to the person by their name. That's basic good manners.
That is where Willie is heading.
Who is Willie?
I don't know. Okay, Russell Brand.
Is this what you all do for a living?
Yes.
Okay, but I'm here
professional.
to. Okay, well let me help you. I'm here to.
Have you ever seen an interviewer be so dominated by an interviewee?
Promote a tour called Messiah Complex. It's here for the people of America. I want the people of America to come and see me do stand-up. Go to russellbrand.tv where you can purchase tickets to see me. These people, I'm sure, are typically very, very good at their job. What is it? You're conveying news to the people of America.
Yes.
People of America, we're going to be okay. Everything's all right. These are your trusted anchors.
Leaning.
Is that a news link? Here's your papers. I'll shuffle them for you.
Shuffle. Look.
Give us that.
That's good. Pen. You need a pen.
Okay, coming up later. Thank you very much, Kat. Okay, we're going to be talking about the situation with Edward Snowden. This whistleblower, is it good what he's done for America, or are our secrets being jeopardised by his intentions? We're going to be talking about that. Also, Bradley Manning. Is Bradley Manning an American hero, or is he compromising the safety of American troops? We care about your views here on Morning Joe.
He's doing their job better than they've ever done it in their entire life.
We'll be talking about those later. Here with me are Brian and Kat. Brian, nice tie. What do you think about Edward Snowden? What do you think about the situation with Snowden? Have you got anything to hide? Should we be concerned about the revelations that are occurring?
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand everything he's saying.
No, it's because you're looking at him. When you don't see him and you don't see the lips.
This is real key. So now he's flipped the frame and he's kind of interviewed them. Watch how many questions he throws at Brian. And I'll explain it in a second.
With me are Brian and Kat. Brian, nice tie. What do you think about Edward Snowden? What do you think about the situation with Snowden? Have you got anything to hide? Should we be concerned about the revelations that are occurring?
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand.
He's flipped the script. 5 questions berated at him, and he's kind of trying to do their job for them. And you find it funny just at the end there if you hear what she says.
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand everything he's saying.
So he's won the frame, he's won the battle. You know, if you have a look at if we look at each other as human beings, and you see the frames between Brian and Russell that was going on, and then you have a look at the other news anchor now digging into Brian. So
I don't know what's wrong with you. I understand everything he's saying.
You know, in the invisible frame battle that we just had, let's just say, Russell won. And now you've got the other people going after Brian. So, you know, and now you'll hear Brian justify why he said it. So you hear the justification.
You're looking at him. When you don't see him and you don't see the lips.
I understand the whole thing.
Stop saying he. I'm present. Russell. What's wrong with your manners?
You're good.
Be polite.
It's become a debacle. It's become a charade, and he loves it because he is now seeing internal fighting that he's not caused, but in this kind of unraveled conversation, here's a little bit of to do from it. He's definitely caused a little bit of it, but now they are all in shambles. They're all everywhere, and it's become hysterically funny.
Tomorrow with a big necklace, and I'm opening.
Look beyond the superficial.
So now you can even see that Brian has taken the frame that he has lost. All right, now I'm going to come here with a big necklace, shirt open. Basically, on a level, Brian is now saying, I lost, obviously. I'm going to change myself a little bit because I want to be more like Russell Brand, right? I want to change myself because the way that Russell is able to be so free, so carefree, so authentic to himself, so articulate, so present in the moment, present in this moment, that it makes people that are not present in the moment, that are trying to manage an image of themselves, a good representation of themselves, it makes them almost have fear of missing out, FOMO. It has them making a bit of FOMO. It makes them want to be like, damn, they see someone like this and they could see the potential in them. And that's why you'll hear messages like that, like, okay, well, I'm going to change my image. And it's only subtle. It's only very subtle, but you can see that because he won the frame battle and he kind of, he took over control. Brian is actually reacting to Russell. Russell's not reacting to Brian. Brian is reacting to Russell. And even before when he says, he is present, I am a and you can see that he pulled him up kind of thing. And they are very reactive to him. And Russell is in command. He is leading the conversation. He is the dominant, energetic figure that is open and free and, kind of enjoying the hysteria that he's kind of caused and kind of seeing the internal conflict between the two people and how unprofessional it's got for an interview.
The problem with current affairs, you forget about what's important. You allow the agenda to be decided by superficial information. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Don't think about what I'm wearing. These things are redundant,
I'm distracted.
superficial.
Okay.
Don't be distracted. What do you think that gesture means, the way you're touching that bottle? What does that indicate? What is that? What's the subtext of
I
that?
think we gotta go to break.
You need to lose that ring, Mika, because it don't mean nothing to you. She's grasping for the shaft. She's a shaft grasper.
Russell, that was free, but it was worth the money.
That was
We'll
great.
buy tickets.
That was
Absolutely.
great. We don't need to see the tour. That was
I got it
fabulous.
now. Russell.
You can hear her, she can't even talk. This is hilarious.
Messiah complex.
Thank you. The Tour Messiah Complex.
Don't be nervous.
Starts in August in Abu Dhabi, right?
You're ovulating.
Oh, but I'm ovulating. Oh my God.
Okay, we're ready. My work is done here.
So this one's actually done on an Australian TV show called The Project. All four people are on there, and there's a little bit of sexual tension between the lady on the right in the black and Russell. There was a rumor that they were dating at one point. So there is some sexual tension in there. So you're going to see how Russell handles that, and you're going to see how I'm going to be able to break down some of the layers that Russell is able to place on people. And I talked about the other one, but how Russell is able to put frames, and we're going to see more frames than ever, because he's not even going to put it on these four people, but the other guest that comes on that is quite big in Australia, Lara Bingle, her name was, Lara Worthington, and you see that he places frames on every single person, and he becomes the center of attention.
Would you please welcome Russell Brand? You got a tissue, where would you like to put it? Can I help you with that?
Should I explain what's on it before I give it to you?
Straight away. So he's made a play on words and that. It's very witty. To start a conversation, again, he is very disruptive in his communication. Very disruptive from the social narrative that is, hello, good morning, yes, I'm here, I'm very thing. It's very logical. He starts with, as you've seen in the last one, illogicalness, with unpredictability, with kind of this entertainer vibe to it.
We are a PG time slot, but go for
We
your life.
don't want another pregnancy on this show.
We look at the frame. It is a PG slot. So it's like he's laid one line. She's like, hang on, don't be going too far because it's a PG slot. Boom, he instills his thing. We can't have another pregnancy on this show. Ultimately, he's already started his frame work from there.
There are some spores on this.
Wow.
Spores. Airborne spores. I'll place it here.
Not.
That's not. That's vulgar. These are life-giving seeds from another dimension.
How do you feel the mother of your child is going with mothering?
That woman, Fifi Box, for me, exemplifies all that is great about Australia. She is fun. She is frivolous.
The funny thing is that she wasn't even the one that asked the question. You know, it was the other lady that asked it. So, you know, he's in his own reality, his own world, as you can tell, but he will answer the questions very logically, which he does, but he's definitely the main character of his movie, which is really important. He's the main character of his movie. He's not allowing other people, in his reality, he is as I said, the main character. He's not allowing the other persons to infiltrate.
That woman, Fifi Box, for me, exemplifies all that is great about Australia. She is fun, she is frivolous, she is beautiful, exuberant, full of life, plucky, can-do spirit. She's unstoppable, I adore her.
Amazing.
Amazingly creative in the way he's able to describe and kind of describe anything. You give him a word and he'll be able to talk for hours. We call that the $1 million mouthpiece.
That's lovely. I didn't actually expect that answer, Russell.
Why?
No, because you actually are a beautiful person, and you've been a very dear friend to me. When people were perpetuating those rumours, I wanted to stand up.
I perpetuated it a bit.
Well, you did.
So he is just, even a serious topic that they get onto, he'll just make it a fun topic again.
I shouldn't have perpetuated that.
Not too late.
So it's not true. We can just
It's
clarify
definitely
this.
not true, so let's not perpetuate anything other than tonight. Just talking about Russ, it's been 2-3 years since you've been here. The True World Tour is in our country. Please tell us, what can we expect?
You come to it. I'll do jokes there. You will have a pleasant time.
He's very much an actor when he does a lot of these things, because even his body language, you can see he's not even facing the people that are interviewing him. There's a live audience, obviously, and he is the performer. He is the person that loves the attention from people. He loves the admiration and just having people experiencing him, and that's something you could definitely take. You know, just being so authentic to yourself that people experience you. And a lot of the time we try to self-manage an image instead of just portraying
the real us, the authentic us, the congruent version of ourselves.
The last few years have been big for you and have involved a lot of transitions. So stand-up comedy and then acting and then politics and activism. When you're doing all that, is it
confusing?
It is. Well, that's my question. Is it hard to get back into stand-up headspace?
Well, no, not for me, Waleed, because I'll tell you why. Because for me, all things must come from a centre of truth. Whether you're doing this interview here on the project, or doing stand-up comedy, or making love to a fine-looking woman in hope of a second child.
Even in the more serious ways that he answers questions, he'll bring a bit of sexuality in there, because that's his vibe, that's his essence, and he's pretty much saying exactly what is on his mind. You can see just the reactions of people, smiles and laughters from all 4 of the panelists, and he knows that as serious as they want to be, he kind of breaks that seriousness up, and it alleviates a lot of tension. And what the biggest thing is that it provides massive amounts of comfort with other people.
Do it from the place in you that is true, from the place that in you is real. From some ideologies, you would call it God or Allah or Vishnu or whatever. But for me, it's that essence. Behind your personal identity, we are connected to greatness. All of us feel it in silence, the quiet voice of wonder present in us all. You can use that in comedy, you can use it anywhere. Even great athletes use it. Who's that crazy tennis kid you've got now?
Oh, Nick Kyrgios.
Kyrgios, that he's coming from somewhere deep. He's deep, that player.
Have there been times in your life where you've lost that? You felt like you've lost it?
Yes, I lose it every day.
Oh. Do you get it back in time for when the show starts?
Please God.
You were knee-deep in Hollywood a few years ago. You had, you know...
Not knee-deep, Peter.
Brings that sexuality back. He brings the hilarity, and that's where, you know, because it is a taboo topic to some people, when you're the first one to do it, you are the proactive, when you're not reactive, you're kind of bringing it out there. A lot of other people will find the humor in it also, when you're the first one and not allowing other people, or not waiting on other people to bring up the taboo topics or the kind of the funny topics.
You don't stop it. You're in Hollywood and you stop at the knee, you've misread the instructions. Go the full rest of the leg. Don't stop until you're at the midriff.
Is that how you get the tissue situation? Yeah.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. I get the impression the experience maybe wasn't as great as you were hoping, or how did you survive that experience?
Don't try to resolve inner maladies with any external stimuli, or you'll be disappointed. We're taught in our culture that it'll be really good to be famous and rich, and it is compared to being really, really poor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like hoping that someone's going to sling me back into Essex, working like in a factory. I don't want to do that. But like the glistening spectacle, we know this now.
The one thing that you get from him is when he talks is that he is quite passionate. He is using a lot of hand motions. He is quite, you know, he captivates people in the way that he talks. One of the greatest things that he does is a lot of vocal range. So dynamic range in your vocal. So there's a couple of ways that you could do that. So number one, it's like he doesn't just talk like a monotone robot, and like, yes, you know, when you're in Hollywood, things like this, that's one way that he doesn't do. He uses a lot of highs, like, yes, Peter, yes, what we're going to talk about. And then he uses some lows, don't get me wrong, but he keeps it interesting. It's kind of like a wave. And sometimes he will say some whispers, sometimes it'll be super loud, but that dynamic vocal range, it's not staying in that robotic voice. And what Russell does really well is ups and downs and ups and downs, and it's really in your face, and then it's quiet, and then he's like respectable, and then he's, you know, up and down. So he has this dynamic vocal range.
Now, it does not nourish us in a real way. So I was sort of like getting the things that I thought I wanted as a kid, and then I was thinking, this doesn't work. Why is this not working?
What he does is he relates everything to the audience, relates it to the other person, relates it, you know. So he uses things like analogies very well, you know. So he's talking about Hollywood, and then talking about as a kid when you had a toy and you smashed it. So he relates it to other people, so other people can relate to the situation that that person has not experienced. So that's what he does very, very well.
Like if you imagine you're eating a delicious cake, but it tasted of ashes. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. But amazing things happened there. I met beautiful people, had incredible experiences. But I didn't like participating in the hologram of contemporary culture that distracts people from the true beauty that's already within them, that doesn't need to be consumed or bought because we already own it.
That needed a beat behind it.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
Someone can do that later on YouTube.
me to cafe, which sounds awesome, where you've got recovering drug addicts working there.
They're unreliable! Why are you late to work? Drugs! No, it's going really well, as a matter of fact. It's a social enterprise. It's good to have businesses that are not motivated entirely...
So in one sense, you could see that someone would, oh, yes, my business is going very well. Yes, you know, we're getting... And he just makes a joke out of it, which makes it actually more important and stand out more in someone's head. The way that he kind of brings it up. He says what everyone else is thinking, pretty much. That's what he does very well. And he does it in such a way that it's humorous and it doesn't offend anybody.
By profit, but to bring people together as communities, you know? Now, I'm a recovering drug addict myself, so the opportunity to get recovering drug addicts working for me is a great benefit, and it makes me feel very, very connected. But I will say they're unreliable! They're doing really bloody well. It's good. It's good to go to a business place and, you know, people have suffered. And they'll continue to suffer. I stay out of that cafe because I start to take it too serious, you know, like... you know, I want to be in control of it and go, oh, my God, come on, let's go, let's go. Like, I go into being Basil Fawlty from 40 Towers.
Well, you're extremely reliable, and you're reliable enough that you're going to stay with us for a whole nother segment and be just as funny as you were then.
I will
so we're going to take a break.
till Fifi and I have a 25-year-old child.
Always just having fun with the interaction. And he creates a lot of high moments in it. And whenever he's not, you feel like it's almost a low moment. So he gives you this polarity of highs and lows, and it's always an experience. And whenever it's always an experience to experience him, which they regard him as. That's what you can bring into your conversations. It's just these highs and lows, this emotional roller coaster. And not really a low, but a low is just, for Russell, it's just logical talking. But when he gets the highs, it's as if he could stack joke after joke, witty line after witty line. And really, when you break it down, it's just that he's saying the things that are authentic to him. He's saying the things that are on everyone's mind with a cheeky smile with it. And you can see that he's saying the things that most people don't want to say. They're really too afraid of. And he'll take them on. So that's really what we've noticed so far.
Now, Russell, as our international guest, I feel that you might be able to throw to our international news segment. Would you be OK to do
Yes,
that?
I'm precisely the right person to throw to an international news segment. Thank you, Carrie. It's time to see what's making the news now around the globe with a quick peek at an international news package. Take it away.
Ourselves a new Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull. Do you have an opinion on him yet?
Here is that opinion now. Why do you put really, really rich people in charge of your country for who want to build a thing called a tax shield? I want a tax shield. Also, what's that thing he goes, like, he's got money in the Cayman Islands, but there's nothing wrong with it. Having your money in the Cayman Islands is like putting your dick into custard. We all want to do it, but there's no rational reason to do it. If your dick's in a bowl of custard, you're doing it for a reason.
Just reminding you, we are live, bro.
Yeah, this is, remember the very first line that she said it's a PG slut? Well, we're talking about dicks in custard now, so it's a slippery slope. He's creating an ecosystem where he is at the forefront of it and everyone else is just a participant about it. This is what you can create for yourself. It's not in a bad way or anything like that. It's just that you are so... You're a lot of energy. You are promoting a lot of abundance and a lot of energy to people. And they gravitate towards you. And that's why he is such a gravitational force and people love him so much.
If you love to have a voice, why have you gone off your YouTube channel, you've gone off your social media? Why is that?
Because I'm taking some time to understand more profound truths than can ever be expressed in the secular world. I don't want to be put through the narrow parameters of conventional media, and not for the fact that I'm here performing to the beautiful people of your country, I wouldn't have the opportunity even to be on this show. So sometimes I think that you get involved in circular, cyclical, circuitous arguments, and so I'm discovering something new and profound, and I'm just learning how to communicate it so as I don't embarrass anybody or anyone.
Your fans are very dedicated. What's it?
They better be! And so do the people in my coffee shops!
Brings it down a notch, makes it relatable, makes it more authentic. You get the real version of Russell, and then it's almost like he just flicks a switch and then bang, back in energy, and then he does that. It's like a up and down, up.
What do you mean you took too many drugs to bake a cake? Oh, I'm sorry, boss. The cake's full of drugs. Delicious. Put 10% on any drug-filled cake. Heroin's not cheap. What's wrong with these kids?
Is there any backlash when you take a break?
What, someone...
Now, someone can, like, you know, he takes it a bit far, he takes it a bit unrealistic, and you might be like, yo, I can't act like that, but you can just take little bits from it. Don't get me wrong. You can just take little bits from what he does and add it even just 10% more to your personality.
Lara looks a little bit nervous when you...
Why?
Have you guys met before? Is this your first time?
Yeah, outside we did a photograph by the logo for the channel.
So, you know, he takes the reins of the conversation. So Carrie just says, have you guys met before? And you can hypothetically think that it was for the new guest, right? So probably directed towards Lara because it's as if she's, well, it is that she's just walked onto the show. She's just, you know, started to sit down. So, but Russell's so in his flow, so in his rhythm that he takes command and takes control of the conversation always. But he still allows other people to talk, don't get me wrong, but he starts talking and just starts to create a different tangent with the lady sitting beside him.
Lara was using modelling at me. I was just being a normal person in a photo. Lara went, no, you were just... did modelling.
I bet
He was just really loud in my ear.
That is the sense that receives vibrations. If I was loud in your eyes, that would be a problem.
Now, Russ, I'm nervous to ask this, but you did say at the start of the year that you were considering attempting celibacy. Is that something that you have continued with?
What time do you finish work?
Wait, logical, illogical, or comedy, or not answering the question. One of the two, whatever you want to take, but it's hilarious.
She's going out with me tonight, so get your mitts off, yeah?
My celibacy rules...
I just saw you, like, edit about 5 jokes.
I do those for you.
Are you going it alone, or have you got a lovely woman at the moment?
I'm committed to the Lord. What do you want to know about me? My private life.
Well, you've gone from...
What I do with my penis at bedtime. Bizarre inquiry. When you're in bed, what happens to that guy?
Oh my god. And this is national TV, like 7 o'clock at night in Australia, so it's not as open as like a 9 o'clock slot or a 10 o'clock PM slot, but this is just too funny the way that he can carry any conversation any times. And you'll get this with, I'm pretty sure he's an only child. And I was an only child, so some of the things that I've seen from Russell, I've also seen in myself because of that only childness and having to kind of, you know, talk to yourself so you just can carry conversations out of nothingness.
You've had one of the most high-profile relationships of all time.
With Fifi?
Yeah. I was just getting what sort of woman you're after now, where your world's at now.
I love all people.
An open invitation to Australia.
This is one of those conversations where you say something and about 1,000 different interpretations get heard.
This is the difficulty with language. We communicate only through symbols, meaning attached arbitrarily. What is reality? What is truth? What is it, Fifi?
I'm confused.
It's so crazy that he can actually like just switch it from one to another, switch from logical, illogical to nonsensical to very descriptive language, and you can see through these interviews, hopefully you can, that you know, just adding a little bit of essence, a little bit of flair, a little bit of something there is so attractive and so captivating with anyone that you're talking to.
Everything right now. I'm still back on what time I finish work.
I love that you're doing philosophy of language on this show. It's wonderful.
That's right. Semantics and semiotics here with me and Waleed.
How are you going, Lara?
So she's been there for a good like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and they haven't even said a word to her. So as you can see, he can captivate a complete room. That's what he can do.
Oh, God.
Russell, can I ask you?
I can't keep up with you. You're just way,
You don't need
too
to
quick.
keep up with me. You're perfect.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We were talking to Lara before about how she goes with the Paps. How's your world with the Paps now? Because would it go up and down in terms of depending where you're living and what you're doing?
Sometimes I get agitated with them. Sometimes in a relationship I feel protective. I sort of would be a bit too violent because you think, no one really cares if someone hits a pap. It's a bloody good opportunity to express some anger. So what I tried to do is imagine that there's people, because actually they are people. So it's not difficult for the imagination to do that.
I don't think they think we're people, though.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult though, isn't it? Because if they get a good photograph of you, a nip slip, say, that could be worth a lot of money to a pap. And I suppose, in a way, many of these problems that we face are economic and problems of, as I say, we've become detached from meaning. People don't think, oh, that's just another human being trying to get through life. Yeah. And it's difficult if you're very famous and you've got your own clothing line and makeup line and beautiful, perfect nose and profile. People won't feel sympathy for you because they'll think you're a shimmering light of pure energy.
So it's really interesting. We're going to get down into this. It's just like...
From meaning. People don't think, oh, that's just another...
You can see the demeanour of her change and watch the demeanour. So she's very just listening to him and she might feel like, oh, it's her opportunity, until he starts to compliment her in such a way through the conversation. He just slips it in so casually, and it's very descriptive about something that I'm sure not many people talk about with her.
It's just another human being trying to get through life. Yeah. And it's difficult if you're very famous and you've got your own clothing line and makeup line and beautiful, perfect nose and profile.
Boom. See that? It's just this inherent laugh and inherent kind of jerking motion, which is... you find that with humour, that it is a jerking motion. It is an expression of happiness, of joy, of emotion, of expenditure of air. And you can see, she's captivated by just him from this point on.
People won't feel sympathy for you because they'll think.
And you can see there, boom, she's come back now. She has a husband. I'm not saying anything like that, but I won't say that she's attracted, but she's captivated by Russell, and they have really, really good body language. As I put it there, he's very open. Obviously, I think Russell is single at this point, and but you can just see the how people can be so attracted, single people, they're so attracted and so captivated by a little comment like that, or a little compliment, as he does. It's not a unique, you're beautiful. It's a very specific thing that she might have been insecure about, and he's pinpointed that and said that to her. And she's obviously got a beautiful nose. He's made a reference to that, and you can see the spark and the enthusiasm come out of her in relation to him talking.
Well, they might think that. I don't know what people think.
Larry, if Sam's watching tonight, what's he thinking right now?
He's thinking...
Who is Sam?
You have a bag down there. What's
I
sorry, I didn't spy that.
Actually, I brought
Were you looking at her bag initially, Pete? On Laura's legs, you sexist! Sam, I hope you're watching this. It's not me you want to worry about, it's Pete. The bag spotter.
Russell, you're from England.
Another dimension?
Yeah, England. I brought you some tanning.
I like that. Hey, that's racist.
Anyway, it's instant.
Is this a product placement?
I'm not saying anything, but you can tell by... she gives him the gift, right? And it's basically now an interview between these two. And the inherent grab on the arm, it's for comfort, but it's also a sign that she... I'm not going to say it because I don't want to ruin anything, but, there's no need to touch him, but she does, because he's very outlandish, and she wants to apologize, and she's not racist at all, but... It's just kind of like a sign of oh my god, he's taking it way too far, but it's super funny, and I don't know. And she's captivated in the moment. She's in the moment, very present to the moment.
I brought you some tanning.
I like that. Hey, that's racist.
Anyway, it's instant.
Is this a product placement? Hi, Lara Bingle. Hey, what's your name?
Well, I just got married, so I'm doing the rebranding.
Tan Moose?
Are you rebranding it? Yeah, eventually I am.
Well, someone's enjoying it. The chocolate monster couldn't be happier.
Okay, you can see that she touches him 3 to 4 times after he says this.
Is this a product placement?
This is the second. This is the...
Third. I'm doing the rebranding.
3 times.
Yeah, eventually.
Oh my god. 4th time, there we go already. 4th time. Because he is just so much.
Well, someone's enjoying it.
5 times.
If you want to find out where you can see Russell live, head to the Sites We Like page on our website. We gotta go. Please thank Russell.
So that is the end of the video. Hopefully you got some insights. I know that with Russell, you know, one of the interesting things is that he is so outlandish, so over the top, and you might be like, how can I incorporate that in my personality? Well, you know, a lot of the time we are very secluded, very recluded, and we don't want to show our real personality, don't want to show our real self, or don't want to be entertaining, or don't want to put ourselves out there. And you can see by Russell, it's like the complete opposite. Loves to be in the spotlight, loves to entertain, loves to actually be the center of attention. So if you could just take that 10%, how can I just put myself a little bit further? How can I go a little bit further outside my comfort zone? How can I actually just express myself a little bit more authentic? And as you can see, he does that very, very well. So all you have to do in that case is start to not only assume the burden of the conversation, that's number one, that he does really well. Number two is that he mixes his highs and lows in his voice with serious topics, non-serious topics, but everything is done with this fun element to it, you know. He will say exactly what's on his mind with a cheeky smile, and you can see through all the interviews that you can watch them independently that he smiles through every single one of them. He is super happy, and his general vibe, general demeanor that you would find is super happy, super just fun and enjoying himself. So again, I encourage you to watch them independently, but I want you to take those little elements that we spotted, you know, whether that was the frame control that he did with Brian in the morning show, whether that was the, you know, kind of the entertaining, the caricature that he was playing, but still then grounding it in himself, and then, you know, being very passionate in what he was talking about. Whether it was any of those elements, I want you to take them and see if you can incorporate maybe just 5 to 10% into your personality. And I guarantee that you will start to captivate a little bit more people. You will start to entertain a little bit more, and you will have this gravity and this gravitational field where people will want to be around you, because not only are you so entertaining, but you offer such a good vibe and such a good energy that it becomes your world. You are the main character. They slip into your reality and they love it. You kind of create an ecosystem full of positive emotions, and you leave them starstruck and be like, wow, this person is amazing. And that's how you get people that are just totally captivated by you, whether it's a person and you want to get into a relationship, whether you're a guy, it's a girl a guy, any of those denominations, or whether you want more friends, or whether even in a business deal. This is on live national television. You can see that he'd probably be like this in a business deal too. So he is this captivating personality, and I want you to look at your personality and see what you can take from Russell. Anyways, I hope you like this video. Like and subscribe if you did. And comment anyone that you think that I should break down too, because, you know, there's a lot of characters that I look at for inspiration to become a little bit more outlandish. You know, even though I'm the, you know, this quote-unquote coach, I never see myself as that. I'm a student of social dynamics, I'm a student of human interaction, and one of the biggest things that I look for is any sort of inspiration where I can be like, oh, I can be improving in any area. So I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.